Today we're going to make a snowflake ornament. To get started, if our panel is already open on the left-hand side of the screen, we're going to close it with the X. If it's not already open, then don't worry about it. We're looking at the main screen, and over here at the right top, we're going to choose the word top to look at the top of our design. Our ornament is going to be about 3 inches in diameter, and just to help us out while we're working, we're going to make a circle to start with so we can see how big it's going to be. I'm going to go to my sketch menu, click on the word sketch. I'm going to go down to circle, and I need to make one more choice, center diameter circle. When I click on it, it will come out and encourage me to choose a plane or a planar face, and I'm going to click on that blue box in the right hand corner to tell it that's the face we want to draw on. We're going to click on the center point, and we want to be right in the center. There's a little bullseye there. Click right in the center, and we're going to drag, and we're going to type the number 3 for 3 inches. When you press the enter key, we should see a 3-inch square on the screen. Then take your mouse up and click on stop sketch, so that we can just see that circle on the screen. That's how big our ornament's going to be. So I can use my mouse, and the rolly button on the mouse, that rolly wheel, will let me make it so that my circle fits on the screen. Another tool I can use down here is the pan hand. If I click on the hand, I can pick up and move that circle on the screen. If I'm in that view and I want it to stop, I have to press the escape key on my keyboard. Alrighty? Now, the first thing we're going to do is draw a rectangle to represent the leg of our snowflake. So I'm going to go to the sketch menu, choose rectangle, 2-point rectangle, and again, I'm going to click on that yellow square to tell it where we want to go. The circle is going to give us a rough size of how big our ornament is going to be. I'm going to find the center and go down 2 squares and over 1. Click with your mouse, drag over and down, and we want to leave about 2 squares inside the circle. So I have 2 squares at the top, 2 squares at the bottom, and when I get it where I think I want it to be, click with my mouse, and I should now see a rectangle. The next thing I'm going to do is put the point on my snowflake arm by clicking on sketch and line. And to do that, I'm going to start in the corner of the rectangle, and I'm going to go down to the center, click, and then I'm going to click again and draw a line up. And that should make a nice little point. If you have a problem and it didn't come out the way you wanted it to, you can do undo, which is the arrow pointing backwards up at the top of the screen. If I hit undo, it will undo each step that I did, and let me try it again. So I'm going to go back to line, and I can go to the corner and go down to the center, click to place my first point, and go back up. So a line takes 2 steps. You click to place the first point and click to place the end. So now I have a nice point for my ornament, and I'm going to click on stop sketch. Now I don't need this circle anymore. That was just to help me see where I was going. So if I want to, I can click on that circle on the outside edge, right click, and I should be able to choose delete and make it go away. Now I'm going to hit undo real quick and show you that one more time. I don't want to click on the main part of the circle. I want to click on the line on the outside. When I do that and right click and choose delete, it'll go away. If that doesn't go away, see if you can get some help to get rid of it. Okay, so now I have 1 leg and 1 triangle. Now I'm going to draw 2 more rectangles by going to sketch and rectangle, 2-point rectangle. And this one I'm going to click on the bar that I drew, and I'm going to make another rectangle, and it needs to be at least 1 square deep and I want it to be about the same wide. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares on the left and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares on the right. We want it to be about equal. My top one is going to be shorter, and then I'm going to make another one down below. And again, it should be 1 square, at least 1 square deep, and that's my snowflake. I've got 1 rectangle and a triangle, and then 2 other rectangles. When I finish, I choose Stop Sketch, and here's my starting point for my snowflake. What I now need to do is extrude or make this part thick. I'm going to start left hand, upper left hand quarter outside the whole marks that I've made, upper left, drag down to the lower right, and we should see it all turn blue. If you don't quite get everything, only part of it is going to be blue. So that box needs to go around the entire thing. Once I've got them all blue, I'm going to go to Create and Extrude, and the extrude is going to make it thicker. The distance I want to extrude is 0.07, and I can either type that in or click on the drop down button and choose 0.07. Then I'm going to click on OK, and next thing I'm going to do is go to my orbit. The orbit is the button on the left at the bottom. Click on orbit, and you should see that funny little circular icon. Press and hold your mouse button, and now when we turn it, we can see that we've made that thicker. To get rid of the orbit, I press the escape key, and I'm going to go over and click on the house in the top right, and then top, so that I'm back looking at the top of my screen. Okay. If you haven't got that in place, go ahead and press pause and go back and get your stuff all set up so that you have the rectangle, the triangle, 2 rectangles, and we extrude. All right, now we're going to cause the snowflake to be made. And for this part on the left-hand side where it says origin, you'll see that the light bulb is white. It's turned off, and we're going to click on the light bulb, and that's going to turn it on. We need to remember to do that so that we can see all the steps. Now we're going to go to Create, Pattern, and Circular Pattern. This is going to take the body that we already created and copy it. So I want to choose, make sure it says Pattern Type Bodies, Objects. I want to select it, and I'm going to click on my snowflake arm. Then I need to select the axis, and this is going to be the point it's going to rotate around. And to do this, I'm going to need to turn my screen. I need to find that green line. That's what I want to rotate around. So I've turned it so I can see, which is kind of awkward. Then I'm going to press the escape key, and I'm going to click on the green line. Now, all of a sudden these other parts showed up, but I can't see very well. So at the right-hand side, I'm going to click on top again, and then I'm going to use my my scrolling mouse button to scroll and see where I am. If I'm not seeing well enough, I can get my hand and pull it down on my screen. Just remember, to get rid of the hand, you can hit the escape key and it'll go back to normal. Alrighty, now that I can see the whole thing, I have 3 copies. It's made a circular pattern with 3, but the problem is that doesn't look very much like a snowflake. So I'm going to click on my spinner button. 4 makes it look like a square. 5, it looks kind of like a birdhouse if you ask me. 6, it's getting closer. 7, 8, 9. 9 looks kind of snowflake-like. Depending on how long your lines are, you'll be able to keep clicking until it starts to look like the pattern you want. Notice as the lines rotate and overlap, it's going to create a different pattern as you go. I think I'm going to stop at 12. Now you'll see that up here these corners don't quite meet, so I don't know how those are going to look when I make my final snowflake, but I like the way it looks and I'm going to give it a try. Maybe I'll go back to 11. That gives me a little more white space. Click on OK. Once you're happy with how your snowflake looks, click on OK and it will show you your snowflake. The next thing is we have to take all these individual pieces and glue them all together. So make sure you can see the whole snowflake on the screen. If you can't, you can use your rolling mouse button to zoom in or out till you see it all. Take your mouse to the upper left-hand corner and hold your mouse button down in the upper left-hand corner and drag over and down until that box is around the whole thing. And now the whole thing should be blue. If you mess up and you don't quite get everything, you gotta go upper left, down to the lower right until it's all blue. Once it's all blue, you're gonna go to the Modify menu and we're gonna choose Combine. Combine is gonna take all those pieces and make them into one. Once I've got the little box popped up, I just click on OK for Combine. And now, instead of being separate pieces, my snowflake is one giant piece. The last thing I want to do is put a hole in my snowflake so that I can hang it up. And I'm going to zoom in so I can see one point better. And it's not at the tippy top, but it'll hang right. I'm going to use this one for my hole. Go to the Create menu, and I'm going to choose Create Hole. And when I go to Create Hole, it's going to guess where I want it. And this is where I put it, and I want it right here instead. So I put my mouse on top of that blue circle, and you'll see it becomes a hand. Press and hold your left mouse button down, and scoot it over till the blue circle looks like it's about in the middle. The size should be about right. If it's not, we're going to change the diameter to 0.10. 0.10 for the diameter of the circle. Click on OK, and I should now have a nice hole to hang it up. Let's try that one more time just in case you need to review. I went to my Create menu, chose Hole. Once I get to Hole, I want to make sure that the extent says all. We want it to go through all of the pieces. I'm going to come out and I'm going to click where I want it to go. Again, it doesn't go where I want it, so I'm going to grab that blue circle and I'm going to move it where I think I want it. It should say diameter 0.10. If it doesn't, you're going to go ahead and click, erase what's there, and you're going to type 0.10. Click on OK, and you should now have your nice hole to put your hook in to hang up your ornament. Once you're done, we're going to choose Save, and we're going to call this ornament. The last step we need to do to get ready to print it out is we go to Make and 3D Print. To print, we need to tell it the selection, and if I click, the whole thing should be blue. If it's not all blue, you didn't do the combine right, and you need to go back and fix your combine. Once I click on OK, it's going to start up the little program so we can see how it's going to print. And then we'll get Miss Thompson to save and print your file so that you can get your ornament. If you want to start another ornament, you can just click on the piece of paper at the top. It's the black piece of paper with the little corner tilted down. That's File, New Design, and we can start again. Again, we start with top. We're going to draw that 3-inch circle. And you can start, and instead of just having 2 lines, you can get more creative on your second snowflake if you have time.